Battlefield has been through many ups and downs, hills and valleys, but it has to be said, this right now is the absolute lowest point the Battlefield franchise has ever seen. This is rock bottom for DICE right now. However, there is, I believe, a silver lining in all of this for us, the Battlefield community. So even if you've laid Battlefield 2042 to rest and you have no interest in reinstalling the game, this still could be good news. So DICE are frantically trying to fix the game. Well, I say frantically, in reality it's taken months just to get a new scoreboard. So I'm not really going to congratulate DICE on a job well done there, for doing so would be akin to my boss telling me I did a good job putting on my underwear this morning. It's not something to be praised for, you know, it's just something that is simply expected of you. Then just this last week we heard that DICE have opened their first player feedback loop, this time around covering maps, all things maps, from subjects like traversal, lines of sight, cover, all the way to player sizes and map shape. So that looks to be the first big area of 2042 that they're planning to make significant changes to. They pretty much came out and said that having 128 players might have been a mistake, so I think that's as close to an apology as you're going to get. So of course, if you're interested in giving feedback on the map design, go over to that blog post and do so. Now presumably, once they're done tinkering around with the existing maps and using this feedback to better the new maps that are in production, hopefully, they will then be moving on to another area of the game, most likely the specialists, and from there, who knows, maybe even vehicles. Now with all that said, I know that for many of you, it's quite simply too little, too late. This plan to fix the game and bring in new players with Season 1, I just don't see it happening, man. If they would have come in around Christmas time and made all of these sweeping changes then, you know, added in a scoreboard and VoIP, overhauled the maps, changed the specialists, maybe they would still have a player base. But things are just moving way too slow over there. When I heard that DICE weren't going to be working on any upcoming Star Wars games, with them instead going to Respawn, I initially thought, oh, this is great. That surely means they're hunkering down on fixing Battlefield 2042, but so far that extra manpower doesn't seem to have delivered much. I honestly think it's too late. I think DICE know it, EA knows it as well. They probably have a very small team working on these fixes, and that's why it's taking so long. Everybody else has already moved on to development of the next title. And to anybody who is still playing the game and even enjoying it somewhat, I'm right there with you, believe me. You know, I'm not just saying these things to beat a dead horse, I'm just being realistic here. If EA could put this game in the trash and start over, I honestly think they would. The only reason they're committing to fixing the game is because otherwise they wouldn't be delivering on what was promised and they could have a lawsuit on their hands. I hope I'm wrong, I really do, but I just don't see it any other way from a business perspective. The player in me wants to hope for the best, but the money-making man at EA just sees a sick animal that needs to be cared for until it's time to be put down. So where is this silver lining you speak of, Ghost? Because this is all sounding rather grim. Well, like I said, I think the fight for a Battlefield 2042 player base is pretty much over. The fight for the Battlefield player base for the next game is only just beginning. There will be another Battlefield game. It may release in 2023 or 2024, but mark my words, the community will remember what happened here with 2042. Now yes, I know that's what we say every time and you all go and pre-order, don't you? Actually, I do too, but I need to make that YouTube money, you know, so I get a free pass, yeah? No, but seriously, I know a lot of people will pre-order, but there'll also be a ton of people who won't due to the diabolical release of Battlefield 2042. So right now it's up to EA and DICE to start trying to gain our trust back. That's what it's all about, trust. If you treat the player base well, they'll almost unquestionably buy your next product. If you treat them badly, don't listen to their feedback, take them for granted, then they won't. Right now that trust is shattered and it needs to be made up in spades. There have been many lies told through marketing of the game. The community have been constantly ignored. We have given feedback upon feedback during the technical alpha and the beta. I made video upon video of what I wanted to see in the next Battlefield game before it was even announced, and was any of it listened to? No. I didn't play much Battlefield 5, but as I understand it with that game, The community specifically conveyed to DICE that they didn't want any changes to the TTK of the game and that it was perfect. And what did DICE do? Completely change the TTK, causing massive outrage amongst their community and betraying their trust. Precisely the same thing that has been happening with Battlefield 2042. However, now DICE are actually asking us for feedback. They tried to make the game less toxic, as they put it, by removing the scoreboard and the deaths and the all chat, and we showed them that we were having none of that, and because of our feedback, we are now getting a scoreboard with deaths in it. It's not that the scoreboard is going to miraculously fix Battlefield 2042, but in my eyes, this is a big win for the community. It shows DICE that we know what we want, and they can't just go reinventing the wheel and shoving whatever they want down our throats expecting us to swallow it. It's the community that made this scoreboard happen, and by listening to us and actually adding it to the game, they've gained back a tiny bit of my trust, but they still have a long way to go. So these feedback sessions are going to be interesting, not necessarily because it will lead to the revival of the Battlefield 2042 player base, but because it's really going to show how far DICE and EA are willing to go, how much they're willing to let us take the reins and to listen to us and say, okay, maybe we were wrong and you were right. So that's sort of where I'm at with Battlefield at the moment. Let me know where you're at down below, guys. As always, thank you for your continued support. I'm trying to hang on in there like many of you guys, so like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.